Everything we thought we knew about love in Bridgerton is about to change. Because season 5 isn't just another romance, it's a battle between grief and desire, loyalty and betrayal, and a brand new scandal that could destroy the ton from the inside. And just when one Lady Whistledown steps down, another rises from the shadows. But who is she really? Season 5 begins in emotional silence, not celebration. The ton may look polished, glittering, and elegant as ever, but beneath the silk gloves and whispered greetings, everything feels different. The balance has shifted, the rules have bent, and for the first time in a long time, no one truly controls the narrative. With Penelope stepping away from her pen, the power vacuum left behind is enormous. For years, one voice shaped reputations, destroyed alliances, and secretly protected the people she loved. Now that voice is gone. Or at least, that's what we're meant to believe. Because a new Lady Whistledown has already begun writing, sharper, colder, and far less forgiving than before. This new writer does not tease, she exposes. Within the first whispers of the season, secrets that were once buried start resurfacing. Old rivalries return. New suspicions rise. Mothers begin to panic, daughters begin to worry. And the Bridgerton family, once slightly protected by Penelope's hidden loyalty, suddenly finds itself vulnerable in ways it never expected. And then there is Francesca. Grief has not left her, it has only changed shape. After losing John, she tried to carry herself with quiet dignity, just as she always does. But grief is not neat. It lingers in the smallest details, in music that once brought comfort, in rooms that feel too quiet, in conversations that end too quickly. The ton may expect her to move forward, but her heart is still divided between memory and possibility. Michaela's absence only deepens the ache. She left without warning, without closure, without explanation. And the silence between them now feels heavier than any scandal. But distance does not erase emotion. If anything, it intensifies it. Because sometimes you only understand your feelings when the person is no longer standing in front of you. And what happens when Michaela returns? Because she will return. Whether through a letter, a chance encounter, or a dramatic reappearance at the start of the next social season, her presence is inevitable. She is too important, too connected, too emotionally entangled to remain away forever. But when she does come back, she won't just be John's cousin anymore. She will be something far more dangerous. The woman who challenges Francesca's understanding of love itself. Is Francesca ready to love again? And more importantly, is she ready to love differently? Meanwhile, Eloise stands at a crossroads of her own. She has always rejected the expectations placed upon her. Marriage was a cage. Society was a performance. Romance was a distraction. But season 4 changed something inside her. Watching her siblings find happiness did not weaken her independence. It complicated it. She still wants freedom. She still wants purpose. But now she also wants connection. Theo's shadow lingers in her story. Their shared ideas, their intellectual fire. The way he challenged her without diminishing her. That kind of bond does not disappear easily. If he were to return, it wouldn't simply be romantic. It would be revolutionary. Because loving someone like Theo would mean choosing partnership over rebellion. But what if the show takes a different path? In the books by Julia Quinn, Eloise ends up with Sir Philip Crane. Yet the series has never been afraid to change the rules. And if there is one thing season 5 seems determined to prove, it is that destiny in this world is no longer predictable. While Francesca wrestles with grief, and Eloise wrestles with identity, the rest of the ton prepares for another season of glittering balls and strategic awe. But beneath the surface, something feels unstable. Lady Danbury's temporary departure leaves a noticeable gap in authority and wisdom. Without her watchful presence, younger members of society may make riskier choices. And risky choices are exactly what fuel scandal. The most unsettling part, the new Lady Whistledown seems to know things she shouldn't. Details only a close observer could notice. Conversations that happened in near privacy. Emotional shifts that even family members missed. This is not random gossip. This is calculated surveillance, which means one terrifying possibility. The new writer is closer to the Bridgertons than anyone realizes. Season 5 is not shaping up to be just about romance. It is about exposure. It is about identity. It is about what happens when love is no longer protected by secrecy but threatened by it. And if the very person narrating society's downfall has a personal vendetta, then who will be the first to fall? Francesca's quiet strength begins to crack the moment Michaela steps back into her world. There is no dramatic announcement, no grand explanation at first. Just a presence, a glance held too long, a conversation that feels unfinished even after it ends. Michaela returns changed. Not louder, not softer, but more certain. Certain about her grief, certain about her guilt, and perhaps most dangerously, certain about her feelings. The tension between them is no longer subtle, it is layered. Every shared memory of John becomes both a bond and a barrier. Francesca finds herself torn between honoring the love she had and confronting the love that is slowly, undeniably growing. She questions whether moving forward means betrayal. She wonders whether happiness is allowed after loss. And in the middle of that confusion, Michaela refuses to pretend. But the Ton is watching. A widow's conduct is always examined. Her smiles are measured. Her visitors are counted. And with the new Lady Whistledown eager to expose emotional weakness, even a single private meeting could become public humiliation. The danger is no longer internal, it is social. At the same time, Eloise's transformation becomes impossible to ignore. She begins attending gatherings not out of obligation but curiosity. She listens more carefully. She debates more strategically, and when a familiar face from her past reappears, whether Theo or someone equally bold, she does not run from the spark this time. She leans into it. But loving someone who challenges society means challenging society yourself. If Eloise chooses a partner outside traditional expectations, she risks not only gossip but permanent separation from certain privileges. She knows this. And yet, for the first time, she seems willing to consider the cost. The question is no longer whether she believes in marriage. The question is whether she believes in sacrifice. Meanwhile, Benedict and Sophie step into a quieter but equally meaningful phase of their story. Their happiness feels earned, but not effortless. Marriage has given them intimacy, stability, and a shared future. But it has also given them responsibility. Sophie, ever open-hearted and observant, becomes an unexpected source of guidance for both Francesca and Eloise. She understands what it means to feel out of place. She understands what it means to fight for love that others may not approve of. And if rumors of a growing family begin to swirl, it will only deepen the contrast between new beginnings and unresolved endings. But while the Bridgertons navigate personal change, the greater storm brews elsewhere. The new Lady Whistledown escalates. Her writing shifts from playful observation to pointed accusation. She begins drawing connections between families. She questions loyalties. She hints at hidden meetings and concealed emotions. And most unsettling of all, she seems to predict events before they happen. It is no longer just gossip. It feels strategic. Whispers begin suggesting that this new voice might not be a young debutante seeking attention. It could be someone older, someone experienced, someone with access to servants, letters, and private drawing rooms. Someone who has studied how power truly works. Paranoia spreads through the Ton like wildfire. Friendships strain. Engagements hesitate. Invitations become selective. The sparkle of the season dims under suspicion. And in the middle of it all, Francesca faces a decision that could change everything. Does she choose safety, the memory of a love that society approved of? Or does she choose uncertainty? A future with Michaela that defies expectation but feels undeniably real. Because once she takes that step, there will be no going back. Just when the Ton believes it has adjusted to the new rhythm of whispers and warnings, Lady Whistledown delivers a blow no one sees coming. A single column, a single name, and suddenly everything explodes. The new Whistledown does not merely hint at impropriety. She suggests forbidden affection. She questions the nature of Francesca's closeness with Michaela. She does not accuse directly, but the implication is clear enough to set drawing rooms on fire. Words like devotion, unusual attachment, and lingering intimacy begin circulating among society's most judgmental voices. Francesca is humiliated without ever being formally charged. That is the brilliance of it. Nothing explicit, nothing undeniable. Just enough suggestion to let imagination do the rest. For someone who values privacy as deeply as she does, this feels like a violation. Her grief was personal. Her confusion was private. Now both are entertainment. Michaela reacts differently. Where Francesca retreats, Michaela burns. She recognizes the strategy immediately. This is not careless gossip. It is targeted. Someone wants to corner Francesca to force her into silence or confession. And Michaela refuses to let her face that alone. But standing beside Francesca publicly would only confirm suspicion. So the question becomes cruelly simple. Protect her reputation or protect her heart? At the same time, Eloise begins to sense something familiar in the writing style of this new Whistledown. The sharp phrasing, the clever misdirection, the emotional precision. It reminds her of something, or someone. And that realization unsettles her more than any rumor could. Because if this new writer learned from the original, then they studied Penelope carefully, which means they may also understand the Bridgertons better than anyone suspects. Eloise starts observing quietly. She pays attention to who reacts too slowly to new scandals, who seems prepared for information before it spreads, who disappears when gossip peaks. And for the first time, she understands the weight Penelope once carried, the burden of holding everyone's secrets in her hands. But unlike Penelope, this Whistledown feels colder, detached, less interested in romance and more interested in control. Meanwhile, Benedict notices the shift in Francesca immediately. Her music grows heavier, her posture more guarded. He has always understood quiet pain better than loud drama. And when he gently asks her whether she is happy, the silence that follows says more than words ever could. Sophie, too, becomes fiercely protective. She knows what it means to be judged unfairly. She knows what it means to have society decide your worth before hearing your truth, and she refuses to watch Francesca crumble under whispers. Yet even their support cannot erase the fact that the ton is choosing sides. Some believe Francesca deserves time and compassion. Others argue that grief should look a certain way, dignified, restrained, and unquestionably heterosexual. The debate grows sharper in private salons and carriage rides. And with every passing day, Francesca feels less like a woman healing and more like a spectacle. Then Michaela makes a decision that shocks everyone. Instead of distancing herself, she attends a major society event at Francesca's side. No dramatic gestures, no public declarations, just presence, steady, intentional, unapologetic. The room shifts the moment they enter, conversations falter, eyes follow, and somewhere, behind ink and parchment, Lady Whistledown smiles. Because this is exactly what she wanted. A public risk, a visible connection, a narrative she can twist however she pleases. But what if she has underestimated something? What if this scandal does not break Francesca, but strengthens her? Because for the first time since John's death, Francesca stops apologizing for her emotions. She stops explaining herself. She stops shrinking. And in that quiet transformation lies something far more powerful than gossip: self-acceptance. The problem is, society rarely rewards women who choose themselves. And as the next Whistledown column looms closer, one terrifying possibility hangs in the air. The next Whistledown column does not hesitate. It does not imply. It does not soften its tone. It names Francesca directly, not with cruelty. That would be too obvious. Instead, it frames her as a widow rewriting the rules of mourning, and questions whether loyalty to the past can coexist with attachments that defy expectation. The wording is elegant, refined, but the meaning is unmistakable. The ton erupts. Invitations quietly disappear. Conversations stop when Francesca enters a room. Mothers pull their daughters a little closer. What was once whispering suspicion becomes open evaluation. And in Regency society, reputation is not just pride, it is survival. The Bridgerton family closes ranks immediately. Anthony's protective instincts ignite. He sees the danger clearly. Once society isolates one Bridgerton, it tests the strength of them all. Colin understands the mechanics of scandal better than anyone, having lived through it beside Penelope. And Eloise? Eloise feels something far more personal, guilt, because she recognizes the pattern. This new Whistledown is escalating strategically, just as Penelope once did when she felt cornered. Which means this is not random cruelty, it is deliberate pressure. Someone wants the Bridgertons destabilized. But why? While the family debates how to respond, Francesca makes a choice that shocks them. She refuses to deny anything. She refuses to issue statements through intermediaries. She refuses to perform innocence for the comfort of others. Her grief was real. Her love for John was real. And whatever she feels for Michaela now is real too. She will not reduce it to protect fragile expectations. For the first time, the quietest Bridgerton becomes the bravest. Michaela, however, struggles with the fallout. Watching Francesca endure scrutiny because of her is unbearable. She considers leaving again. Not out of confusion this time but sacrifice. If her absence restores Francesca's reputation, shouldn't she disappear? But leaving once nearly destroyed them both. And Francesca makes it clear. This time if Michaela walks away, it will not be for protection. It will be surrender. Meanwhile, Eloise's own romantic tension intensifies. Whether Theo returns or a new intellectual equal steps forward, the chemistry is undeniable. But now she sees the cost of unconventional love through Francesca's experience. Choosing a partner outside society's approval is not romantic rebellion. It is long-term resistance.